Alberta in turmoil. MAiD laws crackdown plus Canada Post rebels against Ottawa reforms. Canada finds itself at a critical juncture, grappling with profound shifts in its healthcare and postal systems. In Alberta, Premier Danielle Smith has directed the Justice Minister to introduce new legislation that would grant the provincial government greater control over medical assistance in dying, MAiD. This move comes amid concerns over the adequacy of existing safeguards and the need for more stringent oversight to protect vulnerable individuals. The proposed changes aim to ensure that the MAiD process is carried out with the utmost care and respect for individuals' rights. Critics argue that this provincial intervention could lead to inconsistencies in the application of MAiD across Canada, potentially undermining the federal framework established by the Supreme Court's decision in Carter v. Canada. They warn that such actions could set a precedent for other provinces to impose their own regulations, leading to a fragmented approach to end-of-life care. In response to Alberta's proposed changes, federal officials have emphasized the importance of maintaining national standards for MAiD. They argue that a unified approach ensures equal access to services for all Canadians, regardless of their province of residence. The federal government has expressed concern that provincial interventions could create disparities in the availability and quality of end-of-life care. Health Minister Mark Carney has stated that while provinces have the right to administer healthcare services, they must do so within the framework established by federal law. He has called for continued dialogue between federal and provincial governments to address concerns and ensure that the rights of individuals are protected across the country. Meanwhile, Canada Post is facing its own challenges. The Canadian Union of Postal Workers, CUPW, has launched a nationwide strike in response to government-mandated changes to the country's postal service, including a planned end to door-to-door delivery within 10 years. The union views the reforms as detrimental to employees and blames Canada Post for stalling negotiations over the past 20 months. The federal government, citing a $4 billion loss since 2018 and a record $407 million quarterly deficit, declared Canada Post effectively insolvent. Public Works Minister Joel Lightbound highlighted the organization's importance, especially to rural and Indigenous communities, while stressing the need for urgent reform. Measures include shutting post offices and restructuring delivery routes, with the Crown Corporation given 45 days to enact changes. The CUPW has condemned the government's proposed changes, stating they were unexpected and that Canada Post has not engaged in meaningful negotiations. Nearly 55,000 workers are participating in the strike, which has halted mail and parcel services nationwide. The union fears the reforms will reduce full-time jobs and increase reliance on part-time labor. Business groups warn the strike could deal a significant blow to small businesses during the critical holiday season. Labor Minister Patty Hajdu has urged continued negotiations, offering federal mediation support. However, the CUPW maintains that the government's approach is insufficient and that more substantial concessions are necessary to protect workers and maintain service standards. The federal government argues that the proposed reforms are necessary to address the financial challenges facing Canada Post. Minister Lightbound emphasized that the organization cannot continue to rely on ongoing bailouts and must undergo significant transformation to secure long-term viability. He stated that the planned changes, including converting 4 million remaining home delivery addresses to community mailboxes and closing some rural post offices, aim to reduce costs and reflect declining letter volumes. The government also points to the broader trend of declining mail volumes and the increasing dominance of digital communication as factors contributing to Canada Post's financial difficulties. They argue that modernization is essential to ensure the sustainability of the postal service in the digital age. The proposed changes to MAiD and Canada Post have sparked widespread public debate. Supporters of Alberta's MAiD legislation argue that provincial oversight is necessary to address local concerns and ensure that end-of-life care aligns with regional values. They believe that a more localized approach will lead to better outcomes for individuals seeking MAiD. Opponents, however, contend that such provincial interventions could lead to a patchwork of regulations that undermine the principles of equality and fairness. They warn that inconsistent application of MAiD laws could result in individuals being denied access to services based on their place of residence. Similarly, the strike by Canada Post workers has elicited mixed reactions. Some Canadians express sympathy for the workers, acknowledging the importance of fair wages and job security. Others, however, express frustration over the disruption of services and the potential economic impact of the strike. These developments underscore the ongoing tension between provincial rights and national unity in Canada. While provinces have significant authority over healthcare and other services, the federal government maintains jurisdiction over certain areas, including criminal law and national standards. The challenge lies in finding a balance that respects provincial autonomy while ensuring consistency and equality across the country. As Canada navigates these complex issues, the future of its policies on MAiD and postal services remains uncertain. The outcome of Alberta's proposed legislation and the ongoing strike by Canada Post workers will likely have significant implications for the country's approach to healthcare and public services. Observers note that the resolution of these issues will require careful negotiation and a commitment to upholding the rights of individuals. They emphasize the importance of dialogue between federal and provincial governments to address concerns and find solutions that serve the best interests of all Canadians. Canada stands at a pivotal moment. The actions of Alberta's government and the response of Canada Post workers highlight the challenges of balancing provincial rights with federal mandates. As the country grapples with these issues, the principles of equality, fairness, and respect for individual rights will be tested. The outcomes of these debates will shape the future of Canadian policy and the relationship between its federal and provincial governments. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for latest updates.